Let's begin with the current cash flow situation. Could you walk us through the hotel's cash position?
Certainly. As of today, the hotel's cash position remains stable with approximately $1.2 million available in operating accounts. However, we are seeing increasing liquidity pressure due to slower accounts receivable collections and rising short-term operating expenses. While top-line revenue remains healthy, the timing of cash inflows has become less predictable, particularly from several large corporate clients. From a working capital perspective, tighter monitoring will be necessary over the next few weeks.
If revenue is strong, why are we facing liquidity pressure?
The main issue is timing rather than profitability. A significant portion of our revenue is currently tied up in accounts receivable, especially from corporate events and contracted business. Although revenue has been recognized, the actual cash collection cycle has extended beyond normal terms. At the same time, payroll, utilities, and supplier payments must still be settled on schedule. As a result, there is temporary pressure on operational liquidity despite healthy business performance.
How are delayed payments affecting hotel operations?
Delayed payments create several operational challenges. First, they reduce short-term cash availability, which impacts our flexibility in managing daily obligations. Second, extended receivable aging may affect supplier relationships if vendor payments are delayed. Third, cash flow uncertainty makes forecasting more difficult, especially during periods of heavy operational spending. While the hotel is not facing a cash shortage at this stage, proactive collection management is becoming increasingly important.
What strategies can we implement to improve cash collection?
I would recommend a combination of operational and credit control measures. First, we should strengthen follow-up procedures for overdue accounts, particularly high-value corporate clients. Second, reviewing client credit terms and deposit requirements would help reduce exposure. Third, closer coordination between sales, finance, and credit teams is essential to ensure collection issues are identified early. In addition, encouraging faster payment methods and partial advance payments for large events could improve overall cash flow stability.
How do you manage working capital efficiently in a hotel environment? Effective working capital management requires balancing liquidity, operational needs, and business growth. From a finance perspective, the key priorities are accelerating accounts receivable collections, optimizing inventory levels, managing payment schedules carefully, and maintaining healthy cash reserves. In hospitality, strong coordination between operations and finance is especially important because hotel expenses are highly dynamic and service-driven. The objective is to maintain operational stability without placing unnecessary pressure on cash flow. What is the biggest cash flow risk over the next quarter?
The biggest near-term risk would be further deterioration in collection timing combined with continued cost inflation. If receivable aging continues to increase while payroll and utility costs remain elevated, liquidity pressure could intensify. In addition, any unexpected decline in occupancy or banquet activity could slow cash inflows further. Therefore, maintaining strong collection discipline and accurate cash forecasting will be critical over the next quarter.
How long can we sustain current cash levels?
Based on current cash flow projections and operational performance, our liquidity position remains manageable in the near term. However, sustainability depends heavily on occupancy recovery, collection timing, expense control, and overall market conditions. We are closely monitoring working capital, forecast scenarios, and operational cash requirements to ensure financial flexibility. While the current position is stable, maintaining disciplined cash management remains extremely important given ongoing market uncertainty.
Should we tighten client credit policies?
I believe some selective tightening may be appropriate, particularly for higher-risk accounts or clients with delayed payment history. However, credit policy adjustments should remain commercially balanced because overly restrictive terms could affect client relationships and business competitiveness. The objective is strengthening collection discipline while still supporting long-term corporate partnerships. More proactive credit monitoring, clearer payment follow-up procedures, and account risk segmentation may improve cash flow without creating unnecessary commercial pressure.
Do we need temporary financing support?
At this stage, temporary financing may not be immediately necessary, but maintaining access to liquidity support remains strategically important. Hospitality markets can change quickly, so financial flexibility and contingency planning are critical. Short-term financing options may provide additional operational stability during periods of cash flow volatility or major capital expenditure requirements. The decision should ultimately depend on projected cash flow trends, debt obligations, and overall business recovery visibility.
Will cash control affect purchasing decisions?
Cash control may require more disciplined purchasing prioritization, but operational continuity and guest experience must still remain protected. The focus should be improving purchasing visibility, inventory management, and procurement planning rather than simply restricting operational support. Essential operational supplies and guest-facing quality standards should continue receiving priority attention. Strong coordination between operations, procurement, and finance is important to balance liquidity management with operational needs.
Should departments reduce discretionary spending?
Yes, I believe discretionary spending should be reviewed carefully during tighter cash management periods. However, reductions should remain strategic rather than across the board. Non-essential expenses with limited operational or commercial impact may be deferred temporarily, while investments supporting guest experience, revenue generation, and operational continuity should remain protected. The objective is preserving liquidity responsibly without negatively affecting long-term business performance.
Could stricter payment terms hurt business volume?
Potentially, yes, particularly within highly competitive corporate and MICE segments where flexibility can influence client decisions. That's why payment policy adjustments should remain commercially reasonable and selectively applied based on account profile and payment behavior. Strong communication and relationship management are also important to avoid creating unnecessary tension with key clients. The goal is improving cash flow discipline while still maintaining healthy long-term business relationships.
How aggressive should collections become?
Collections should become more proactive and disciplined, but still remain professional and relationship-focused. Strong follow-up procedures, regular account reviews, and earlier communication can significantly improve collection performance without damaging client partnerships. Escalation should generally be based on payment risk level and account history, rather than applying overly aggressive collection pressure universally. In hospitality, long-term commercial relationships remain extremely important, so balance and professionalism are critical.